The galaxy's most comprehensive biological archive hummed quietly in the sterile halls of the Consortium's central research facility. For 3 centuries, the Galactic Consortium had catalogued every predator species across 47 star systems, creating the most detailed genetic database in known space. The purpose was simple: understand the evolutionary patterns of apex predators to better protect the herbivorous and prey species that dominated galactic civilization. Alicia Chen stood before the holographic display, her dark eyes scanning through layers of genetic code that spiraled in luminous blues and greens. As the lead xenobiologist at the facility, she had spent the last 5 years contributing to the database's completion. Today was supposed to be a celebration. The final entry is uploaded, announced Throck, the Vexillian coordinator whose iridescent scales caught the laboratory light. His species, evolved from prey animals on a death world, took particular pride in this achievement. All known predator species are now catalogued, their evolutionary pathways mapped, their genetic contributors identified. Albert Morrison, the human data analyst working alongside Alicia, leaned back in his chair and grinned. 300 years of work, finally done. I'd say that calls for a drink. Premature celebration is inefficient, chirped Dr. Selix, the insectoid Shirathi researcher. Her compound eyes reflected the data streams. We must verify the cross-reference algorithms first. Alicia initiated the verification sequence. The database would now automatically analyze all entries, identifying which modern predators descended from which ancient species, mapping the great tree of predatory evolution across the galaxy. It was meant to be a formality. The holographic display flickered. A notification appeared in harsh red text. Anomaly detected. That's odd, Alicia muttered, her fingers dancing across the control interface. The system is flagging an inconsistency in the contributor matrix. Albert rolled his chair closer, his brow furrowed. What kind of inconsistency? Before Alicia could respond, the display reorganized itself. Species after species began highlighting in cascading waves of crimson. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of predator species across the galaxy flashed with the same designation. Genetic contributor human Homo sapiens. The laboratory fell silent. That's impossible, Throck whispered, his scales darkening to a frightened gray. Humans are from Earth, a single planet. You've never left your solar system until 2 centuries ago. Alicia's hands trembled as she pulled up the detailed analysis. The database wasn't malfunctioning. It was revealing a truth that defied everything they understood about evolutionary biology. Human DNA, or rather, sequences remarkably similar to human DNA, appeared as ancestral contributors to predator species across the galaxy. Species that had evolved millions of years before humans ever left Earth. This must be contamination, Dr. Selix insisted, her mandibles clicking anxiously. Human samples corrupting the database. Run it again, Albert said quietly, his voice tight. Use the backup archives, the ones humans never had access to. They ran the analysis 17 times over the next 6 hours. Each time the results were identical. Human genetic markers appeared in the evolutionary history of predators from worlds humanity had never visited, in species that had evolved long before humans developed spaceflight, in creatures that had no possible connection to Earth. Alicia discovered the pattern first. She noticed it in the data structure, in the way the genetic sequences aligned. It's not that human DNA contributed to these species, she said slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. It's the reverse. These sequences contributed to humanity. The implications crashed over them like a wave. The seeding hypothesis, Albert breathed. Someone took genetic material from apex predators across the galaxy and combined them to create humans. Throck backed away from the console, his prey instincts screaming. You're saying humans are, what, a chimera? A designed super-predator? Alicia pulled up Earth's evolutionary history alongside the galactic data. The pieces fell into place with horrifying clarity. Humans possessed the endurance hunting capabilities of Chronos IVs, pursuit predators, the problem-solving intelligence of Vexen's ambush hunters, the social pack dynamics of Vila's cooperative killers, the adaptability of species that had conquered a dozen different ecological niches across as many worlds. We thought we were explorers, Albert said, staring at his own hands as if seeing them for the first time. Survivors who clawed our way up from prey to predator on a harsh world. No, Alicia finished his thought. We were engineered. Someone took the deadliest traits from apex predators across the galaxy and combined them into a single species. Dr. Selix's translator struggled to convey her distress. But why? Who would create such a thing? The database pinged once more. A final file had been uncovered, buried in the deepest layers of the genetic archive. It was older than the consortium itself, older than any known civilization. Alicia opened it with shaking hands. A message appeared in a language that predated all modern tongues. Yet somehow the translation matrix recognized it. Project Guardian. In the event of existential threat, deploy Apex Solution. 12 million years of predatory evolution concentrated into optimal form. Designation: human. The laboratory remained silent as they absorbed the truth. Humanity wasn't an accident of evolution. They were a weapon, created eons ago by some forgotten civilization, seeded on Earth to develop and await some unknown trigger. Albert laughed, a sound edged with hysteria. So that's why we survived. Ise ages supervolcanois. Plagas, we weren't lucky. We were built to be uncomfortable. Alicia closed the file, her scientific mind already racing ahead to the questions that mattered now. Who created them? What threat required such a weapon? And most importantly, was that threat still coming? She looked at her colleagues, the gentle Vexillians, the peaceful Charathi, all the prey species that had built this civilization on cooperation and harmony. They had welcomed humanity into the consortium with open arms, never knowing they'd invited a designed predator into their home. We need to inform the council, Throck said finally, his voice hollow. Yes, Alicia agreed. She glanced at Albert, seeing her own determination reflected in his eyes. But first, we need to understand what we were made for, because something tells me we're going to find out. The database continued its quiet humming, now holding one more terrible secret in its infinite archive. The galaxy's prey species had spent 3 centuries cataloging their predators, never suspecting that the greatest predator of all had been walking among them the entire time, waiting for a purpose that 12 million years of evolution had prepared them to fulfill.